Hey Kyle, how's it going, man?
Good, brother. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. Good to see you. Thank you for hopping on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. I'm sorry we couldn't catch up at the long road. I
Oh
was
no,
all over
look,
the place.
honestly, man, everybody's schedules are just so crazy at the long road.
I
So
know.
yeah,
I
don't
know.
don't worry about it. It's great to have you on, and thank you for, like I say, taking the time out of your day to have a chat.
Yeah, man.
So I felt like I should reach out to you because I know you've sort of become an adopted member of the the country crowd over here. Just tell us a little bit about the love that you felt from all the guys over here. I know you've integrated into the Facebook groups and all that jazz. Just
Yeah.
tell us about how you've been welcomed into the community here.
Man, it was kind of a arms wide open type of scenario. It started with the Brandy Clark show that I did back in 2019, I believe, at Country
Yeah,
Music Week at Shepherd's Bush Empire. We didn't even get to finish the set before we got a standing ovation, and it just was, I felt like instantly the crowd just kind of wrapped their arms around me. They were tuned in. They wanted to know about the songs. I think that it was a mutual love right out of the gate, and so for me, I think this time, obviously, I kind of got robbed of the 2020 C2C deal, and everybody, we all had to go through it together. But this was much like a family reunion of sorts. There were a lot of people that were waiting to see me at C2C. They got to see me this last time, and it was, man, it's awesome. I couldn't ask for better fans.
yeah. So tell us about the long road because your set was incredible. By the way, one of the
Oh,
big
thank you.
highlights of the weekend for many
Oh.
people. I think there's so many people just shouting from the rooftops about your set. Just just tell us about how you felt to be up on such a big stage like that with such an amazing lineup that day as well.
Man, what an honor, obviously, to play the festival to begin with, but to be on the same stage as dudes like the Cadillac Three, idols of mine. Those dudes are, they've been rock stars since I was like 15, 16 years old and just started playing guitar. So love those dudes. It was great. I really felt honored as well that the crowd showed up on a Sunday at 1:45 in the afternoon. I mean, that was
That's
the
commitment right there.
yeah, I mean, it was the last day of the festival. I know how I have personally been the last day of the festival, and it's just kind of like, oh my God, I feel terrible. I'm not going to see anybody until like dark. So I get it, but it was awesome, man. The energy that day. I kind of prefaced the whole thing by saying, um, I'm gonna I'm gonna take y'all to church, So Sunday we're gonna have a little soul revival, and that was exactly what we did.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I'm going to delve into your music a little bit in a second. But first of all, how have you adjusted to dad life?
Oh man, I love it. It's the greatest thing that has ever happened to me. I know that it's been quite an adjustment from going to I did the 195 some odd dates in 2019 to sitting at home for the most part over the past little bit, but it's helped give me, instead of just sitting around writing songs, waiting on things to happen, getting tours lined out, it's given me a different purpose in life that I love and appreciate, and that kid does something for me that nothing ever has. So it's great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, has it impacted your sort of songwriting at all, or your sort of general outlook on life?
Yeah, I'm definitely my general outlook on life. And ironically, I haven't written a song since before he was born.
Wow.
And he is 5 months old, and I kind of do that. Admittedly, I go through these spurts of like I'll write 150 songs in 6 months, but then I won't write for six more. Um, and I just feel like for me personally, um, that's something that I need to kind of refuel. I need to live. I need to feel those life experiences because I'm not an artist or a songwriter that writes about something that I'm unaware of or that I don't know.
And you released the Following the Rain EP fairly recently. Just tell us about that whole project and the work that went into it, the inspiration behind it, just how much it means to you as an EP.
Yeah, it is a part of what will inevitably be the LP, which is Kentucky Gold. And, you know, man, we went down to Muscle Shoals. Brian Elmquist of the Lone Bellow produced this. We holed up in a mansion for a week, and I had some of the best players that Nashville has to offer play on the record. We it was eat, sleep, breathe, record, and it was awesome to be able to like wake up, have breakfast and a coffee, and then walk in the living room and get started. So it was a really cool experience. I think that this record specifically to me was Brian kept using the term, we want this to be the 30,000 foot view of Kyle Daniel. And I think that was pretty dead on. I wanted to show the versatility, the influences. There are songs that are coming up on Kentucky Gold that some folks are going to be like, wow, I didn't necessarily know that was part of his bag. But I think that it's got a little bit of something for everybody in it. And specifically with Following the Rain, it's been since 2020 we recorded that record, and it's been a long time since I'd put any music out or been able to tour or do anything like that. And so I was kind of waiting for the right moment, but I felt like at this point it's like, man, 2 years later you kind of look at it and you go, what am I doing? So I needed absolutely to release some music.
Yeah. Well, tell us about Hollering Hills. It's one of the standouts for me. Obviously, a significant one for you as a Kentucky native as well. Just talk to me about the background behind that one and how much it means to you.
Yeah, a couple of years ago with the coal mine strikes, I thought that was something that was fairly intriguing. That they took the trains captive and were like, look, we're not going anywhere till you pay us. And so I felt like as a Kentuckian, that was one of the more recent songs prior to, the tornadoes that destroyed Bowling Green and Western Kentucky. My hometown of Bowling Green got hit really bad with some tornadoes back around Christmas of last year. And then more recently, the floods in Eastern Kentucky, obviously two great subjects to write about, but this was prior to both of those. So I felt like it was the most recent, like, cool storyteller type of Kentucky song that I could dive into and show my roots a little bit.
Yeah, and another one on there is "Me and My Old Man," another special one for you. Talk to us about that one, and that must have been quite a cathartic process to get that one out, I would imagine.
Yeah, man. Because my dad owns a construction company and has been in construction my entire life. And I kind of watched as a young man what that did to him. He admittedly still probably doesn't want me to admit this, but would tell you that he often brought work home with him a lot, and it was just something that I'd never pictured myself being that, but my dad and I have somehow, from a civil engineer to a musician are completely polar opposite ends of, kind of the human spectrum. And because my dad's a very black and white person and I'm an all color kind of person. I'm also black and white, but I'm an all color kind of person, in that, like, I see things from a million different perspectives. And I think to him, maybe sometimes I ramble, and to me, maybe sometimes he's too cut and dry about things for me. But that's where the line, we both built a common ground where I still stand. Me and my old man. That was we found a way to work and love each other, and it, even though I took a completely different path in life, which it would have been very easy for me to follow in his footsteps and take over the company or what have you, and I just didn't. Man, it never hit me. I think when I started playing music, there was a passion behind that even he respected, and I think that was really cool. That was kind of my tip of the hat, like, man, thanks for still hanging on to this dream with me, sort of thing. And obviously taking a completely different approach now that I am a dad.
Yeah, of course. And you mentioned the album, Kentucky Gold. What's the timeline on the album? Is it all ready to go? And
well, yes and no. Okay. I probably shouldn't say too much about it, but I'm propping this thing up to really tee it up and knock it out of the ballpark. There's a couple things that may be added to the record over the next couple months, and it will come out next year. I'm not sure exactly when, but I've been very patient, and I think that my patience has paid off. There's some conversations happening that are very positive, so I'm excited to see where it all heads and what all we can come up with in the midst of this.
That's awesome, man. Excited for you. And what's the long-term plan for international touring? I know you seem pretty committed to the UK. Is it going to be
That's right.
a yearly thing to come back and see us?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that because of the response that has happened so quickly, this is my third trip over. I can't help but think that this next time is going to be longer, more cities, more shows, more, and hopefully tag teaming up with somebody that's been over there and we can maybe help fill some rooms together. So who knows? I think it's going to be really interesting to see how it all pans out.
Is it quite a refreshing thing to you to come over to a country where it's not country radio based and it's more about the live performance? Because I would imagine being like in and around the Nashville scene, it can be quite suffocating at times. Would that be fair to say that
Absolutely
so revolves around country radio? Like, how nice is it to come over here and experience that?
Oh, it's just I think I've always kind of compared it to like what I feel like the late 60s and early 70s would have been like as far as people appreciating music, live music. It was, you're talking about that's like Woodstock era, and where people were drawn to the music because of the performance, because of the songs, because of the artistry, that it wasn't this 9 to 5 listen to the radio in the shop sort of thing, and that's where you are fed your music. There were still those 9 to 5 workers, but those people were hungry for music, and I think that here, you're right, there is a lot of focus on country radio, and I don't, not that I don't want to play that game, I just don't know that I belong in that game. I think you got to kind of also realize where your strengths and weaknesses are, and I'm not a top 40 commercial country radio songwriter for the most part. Not to say that one of my songs couldn't end up on country radio. I just don't think that that's the kind of lane that I want to push, and I think it is, like you said, refreshing to come over and to be able to see people hungry to buy your merch, that connect with your songs to the point that like they have tattoo lyrics of your songs on them for the rest of their life. Like, to make an impact like that makes you feel like, man, I've struck a chord here, I'm doing something right, and you go where you're wanted. And I think that that's not to say that I'm not wanted here, but to say that there's more of an appreciation for what I do over there would be an accurate statement.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. So, and keep doing what you do, man, because we love having you over here, and I think that people are taking you into their hearts in the UK country crowd. So,
well, likewise,
keep doing what you do, man, and thank you so much again for jumping on today. It's a pleasure.
Dude, I appreciate it, my man. Thank you so much. It was good to catch up with you, Dan.